There it is. Now
Hello, we are live. Hi, I am Kathleen Sherman, Shamanic Medical Intuitive with our network. And today we're bringing in Robin Nicole. She's got a sister network and she's basically one of our soul sisters. So she belongs with us really. She has some light coded artwork and she also is the creator of the Shine Your Light Network. Today we're going to talk about going within, detaching from drama, and rebirthing into mastery. Hello, Robin.
Hello, how are you, Kathy?
I'm doing great. Doing awesome today.
Hello, it's really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be part of your show today. You've been doing a couple of shows. You started doing them like on a weekly basis, I noticed.
Yes.
and thank you for asking me to be part of it today. And you've got these lovely women in your team here. We got the Bonnie Bird. I call her Birdie. That's my nickname for her, by the way, Liz. And Jennifer. And I think, how do you want to go? Do you want to start with me, like explaining who I am and where I came from and all that? Or do you want to all of you guys go around in a square and explain who you are?
We could go around in a square. Jen, do you want to start? Jennifer?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Passavant. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach, energy healing practitioner, and channeler of divine beings.
Awesome. And I'll go next. I'm Kathleen Sherman. Like I said, I'm a shamanic medical intuitive. I do all kinds of sorts of different things and help people bring healing to themselves. And then Robin, do you want to go next or Bonnie?
We'll let Bonnie go first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Bird. I'm a Reiki master teacher and I work in Akashic Records. I do quantum healing, spiritual teacher, and everything you can think of. When it comes to spiritual, I teach a lot. So go ahead, Robin. That's enough on me.
I'm Robin Nicole, and like the girls said, I formed a group called Shine Your Light Network, and I've been streaming and doing a lot of like video blogs. I call them vlogs, and I do these like walks down to the forest, and I do these like little vlogs for people, and I just kind of talk about my own meandering thoughts and what's happening within my life during the day. And then I've been doing interviews with different people from all walks of life. And basically what my Shine Your Light Network is all about is it's about I believe that every single one of us has a piece of the puzzle of life. And we all have our very own unique gifts. Not one of us has a gift that's the same than anybody else, and nobody is higher than each other. We're all equal. And I believe strongly that we need to look inside of our hearts and find out what makes our heart sing. And then when we find out what makes our heart sing and what we're passionate about, to basically put our piece of the puzzle out into the puzzle board of life and shine your light out to the world. And so what I do in that group is I help people shine their light, because not everybody's used to shining their light. We're all used to just being kind of like a hermit inside ourselves and not really letting anybody know what we do. And our world isn't going to be a better place if we don't start this is basically what I was being shown, if we don't start stepping up and just putting whatever it is that we do out into the world, because nobody's going to fix our world. We have to do it ourselves. And so that's basically how I started that. And then I'm an artist, and I've been.
They were bringing in.
Somebody's talking in the background. I'm an intuitive artist, and I'm a sculptor. So everything that I do is made out of clay, and I work with clay. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize I was doing it for the longest time. I started making artwork that ended up, what I found out is light coded. And so when people look at my artwork, they usually get something out of it because I'm an activator for ascension and to help wake people up and stuff. And so that's basically what I do. To make a long story short, I could go on all day and tell you, but
It's like it's like we've been going along, learning all these different tools and then putting them in our little toolbox. And we've been, just trying to learn everything we could think of, because we're wanting to search. And this is the now time. This is the time to bring out all your tools and start sharing with everyone, start helping people with the energies, helping people do their shadow work. This is what we've been training for all this time. I mean, we're here, we were so just thirsting for knowledge, reading everything, reading books, going here, going there. And this is it.
It is.
So that's what we're doing now. We're trying to bring everything.
I agree totally with you. Can you hear me, or is that my microphone going weird?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay. I totally agree with that, because one thing I've noticed, like I spent a lot of years, like I think I was always kind of awake and on this path. I spent my life in I spent a lot of time in this inner world with, like, people would say like I'm away with the fairies and not saying it in a nice way. And they all said like I'm in this imaginary world and blah blah blah. And I spent that time for a long time. And then I had to keep quiet about it. I couldn't tell anybody what was happening. Like all this stuff was real to me. And every time I tried to explain it to somebody, they just would look at me like I had 5, 6 heads on me. And it was like that for the longest time. And so for years, I think I just hermitized myself, and I would just sit down by the fire, and for hours I would do counter, cross stitch, anything, because there'd be nobody to talk to. I'd be talking to people, but they didn't want to talk about anything interesting as far as I was concerned. It was just like talking about the weather and talking about the gossip and all this, and there was nothing interesting. I'm like, let's talk about like what our life was like before we came here. And they just look at you like, what are you talking about? And I found like in the last like maybe 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden it's like we can talk about it now. Yeah. It's like we're finding our tribe, we're finding the people, we're able to just finally start saying, yeah, things are happening. And I'm seeing things that really probably are not, like, people don't normally see these things, or I'm feeling things that just you can't put your finger on it. You can't figure out where it's coming from, but you just know. And so, and I also find that this is one of the things we were going to talk about today. We can probably just like start talking about it if you want to. Is I have noticed there's been a lot of people that have been watching me lately and stuff, and they've been questioning, like, they think I'm some kind of person that knows all the answers, and that I have some kind of magical gift that they don't have. And I just want to come on and debunk that and say, listen, I'm just a normal person, just like you and all 3 of you girls with me. We're all just normal people. And we just gone within, and we've learned what the voice within is saying. And so I think it would be fun if we could talk about, because people have asked me, like, how do I connect with my higher self more? Because they don't know how to do it. They're just kind of thinking that they have to come to me for a session or somebody else for a session to get connected. And we are all connected. Some people just don't know how to hear the connection. So I think what a good thing would be is if we all went around the room and we all talked about how we connect to our guides and to our higher self and how that works for us. Just to kind of like debunk it and make it kind of like simple to people, so that they can know, people that are watching us can know that they can also do what we do. Because like all of us have like really wonderful gifts out here that we can do. And we could sit here and we could put on a show and we could talk about all these great things that we see and do. But I think it would be really cool if we could show people how it works.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. I think it'd be cool. I just want people to know that it's when people go within and like they're doing meditation, or say that I'm doing Akashic read, it's not about just clearly seeing the picture, Sometimes it's a knowing. Sometimes it's just color. Sometimes you actually do see it. Sometimes it's really clear, like Jesus steps out in front of you and you go, whoa, you know, but it's all about your energy language and how you learn it. And you use all of your senses, all of them, sense of smell, all of it. And it sort of puts a puzzle together and it makes a picture. And so
How did it start working for you? How did that start working for you, Bonnie? Like when you first started doing it, is it something that was always there for you, or did you have to kind of like work the muscle? How did it start for you?
I just thought well, for me, I started with meditation, and then I took classes for hypnotherapy, and then you kind of learn how to step in the consciousness, you know. But you don't have to take hypnotherapy classes to do it. You just practice doing meditation, and you just it's kind of easy. But it's the meditation and that working that conscious muscle, you know, stretching that muscle, allowing the energies to come through, you know, that kind of thing.
That's how I started originally, was basically meditation. But the meditation word is scary to people as well, because not everybody knows how to meditate, and they think they don't know how to meditate. And there's like, how many ways is there to meditate is how many people there are in this world, because like everybody has a different way to meditate.
Yeah.
So Kathy, what do you do when you start to meditate? What is your meditation like?
Mine doesn't really go super deep. I just I try to go out in nature. I just kind of calm myself down and do my connection with source. And when I do that, I just kind of let everything fall away. As a matter of fact, one of the first ways, because I had a really hard time, I'm more high energy, probably more, you know, my brain's always going, thinking this or that. And as a matter of fact, Sherry Lord helped me. She was the first one that really got me she goes, okay, so this was her way. She said, go in and look inside your lungs and just focus your energy in your lungs. And so when I did that, I was like, oh, okay. So she was having me bring my consciousness to a certain place in my body, and I could literally see inside my lungs. And so I just and then just to focus on the breathing. And that's how she got me basically to be able to slow my mind down enough, because that's what most people's problem is they just need to slow their mind down, quit thinking other things. Or if those thoughts come in like, oh crap, I forgot to, you know, switch laundry around, whatever, you just refocus and you go, wait a minute, okay, push it away, and then just refocus in and connect on that, you know, God's source that you're just bringing that energy in from. And it's like a form of prayer really for me. And so I just kind of connect in through my higher self, and through everything. And then I just kind of become center my energy. And that's how I do it. I just kind of center my energy and just kind of push other stuff away, and connect with everything that is, because everything is energy.
I do the same thing, but then another thing that started happening after I started doing that, when I first started doing it, and then all of a sudden when it started going deeper, I started not seeing visions, like, because everybody thinks, oh, you're going to see like this big, huge, like video screen going on in front of you. But I started seeing like blobs of color, like different colors would show up. And like when I had my eyes closed, and I would see, and I still to this day, when I go into like a healing mode, or when I need to like really rebalance myself, and I'm not, like a lot of times I'm not expecting to see a vision or anything like that happening, I'll see a lot of color, and I'll know like, okay, certain colors are helping me do certain things. For the longest time, I would see, when I first started doing the meditation, I would see green everywhere.
Like Sherman, shamanic medical intuitive.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out why there was no comments. And I clicked on it, and it started
okay.
going. So I'm just wondering if it's actually running live, because I
think it is. Let me see.
It's live on Facebook, it says.
Yep. Try it today.
I think it is. Yeah, it's there. I can see
Sorry,
it.
guys.
Well, wait a minute.
I'm not.
Wait a minute now. I'm not seeing. Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay. Because it's stuck on mine, so I just was wondering if it was live anywhere.
Yeah, so like what I see, I start seeing colors and stuff, and for the longest time it was colors, and then after a while I started learning like the colors. I think I needed a lot of healing, And so the green was like coming in a lot. But like lately, now that like I don't need as much healing, and now I'm starting to like open up like Akashic records and stuff like that. And blue is coming up a lot. So I'm seeing a lot of blue. So I'm not necessarily seeing like little TV screen things going on. I'm seeing blue. So what is it like that for you, Jennifer? What is it like?
Yeah, it's funny because as I listen to you talk, it's the color blobs that you were talking about. I get that whether they're working on me through me or I'm working on somebody else. So I know what vibration of energy is being used on my client or is being used on me. I'll see like sometimes, how do I say this? Like a burst of white light, like a, I don't know, it's weird. Sometimes I'll see that when the energy comes in really, really strongly, or I'll see almost like a checkerboard, like geometric shapes sometimes. And then occasionally I'll see images, especially if I'm working on others. I might see like a face or something like that, but usually it's colors and geometric shapes. And then I'll get like a knowing or an understanding of something. I occasionally hear words in my head, but normally it's like just knowing things that just kind of get put in my head, you know? But yeah, when I first started, before I knew I was channeling, meditation was absolutely key, and it still is. And for me, like Kathy was saying, finding the focus with the breathing, for me, breathing is the focus. So I practice a rhythmic breathing. So I do like the 3-6-3-6. So inhale for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 6, hold for 3, or 8-4-8-4, whatever it is. And I do the pranic 3-part breath. So I use all 3 parts of my lungs to really slow down the breathing, because it's when you slow down the breathing that you slow down you relax your nervous system and you go into the alpha brainwave state, and that's where you start getting more receptive. And when you can just not have any expectations of what's going to happen and just focus on the breathing, focus on taking in a lot of energy, use either the counting as a point of focus or an image as a point of focus, as long as you got that point of focus. And Kathy, like you were saying, if a, oh, I've got to do laundry goes through your head, let it go through your head and then bring it right back to focus. And that's when you can start having like the color blobs or, whatever it is. And I just want to stress to people that you can't, there's no wrong way to meditate. And even if you get a zillion thoughts going through your mind, there's a reason why they call it a meditation practice, because there's no way you're going to be a guru that's going to sit there for 3 hours straight with no thoughts in your head. First, go. And I personally wouldn't want to sit for 3 hours straight in meditation because I got to do. But
that's another thing, Jennifer, as well, as like a lot of people don't realize is that they can be meditating when they're doing the dishes. You can be meditating when you're swimming or walking. Like you can be meditating and not realize that you're meditating. It doesn't have to, like meditating doesn't have to be.
Well, like, stare out the window at nature and my brain just goes.
And for the longest time, I couldn't meditate without being in the steam room and having the noise of the steam room, the
white noise,
noise. I couldn't do it. And when we had this COVID thing going on, and I all of a sudden was ripped away from my steam room and my swimming pool and everything. For like 2 weeks, I didn't know what to do because I couldn't do my meditation because I didn't have that steam to go shh. Yeah. So I had to like find a new way. I was like, I had to find a new way to do it.
Yeah. And I think too, setting an intention before you meditate of just allowing whatever is for your highest and best good to take place. And so then you're not placing any expectations of, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, I want to hear the voice of friggin' God. Then you're placing a lot of pressure on yourself and a lot of expectations. And then if that doesn't happen, then you feel disappointed. Oh, it didn't work. God didn't want to talk to me today. And that's not how it works, because you're then placing an expectation too on how you're supposed to receive whatever it is you're asking for. So if you're asking for guidance and support and then you go into a meditative state and you think, well, nobody said anything for crap's sakes. Well, maybe tonight when you dream, you'll have a dream about it. Maybe a week from now, you'll have a conversation with your best friend and you just got the answer. Maybe in the dentist's office, you'll be reading a magazine and come across an article that touches on that exact, whatever it is. And once you release that expectation of how you're going to receive guidance from your higher self and your spiritual entourage, oh my God, then it just opens up the floodgates, because they know that they can try different ways to communicate with you, and whichever ones you acknowledge are the ones they'll start using more of. And so once you let go of that, I need to hear a voice in my head, and I need stuff.
And that's
Once
like
they
me, like at first when I started like trying to get these visions for like the next piece of art, once I knew that I was getting these visions and that I was doing this, like, because my tiles and stuff that I do and my different artworks, once I figured out that that's actually what I was doing, I would get these visions and then I would do it. But then there would be times where we were like, how come nothing's happening? It would go for like a month and I wouldn't get a vision for the next piece of artwork. And then what I noticed is that you have to follow through, Robin. When you get a vision and you walk away and you don't do anything with it, then they're not going to give you another one until you follow through with what they showed you. And as soon as I would follow through and I would be like, oh, okay, they did show me that, so maybe I'll just do the one that they showed me. And then I do it. And as soon as I get done, without any expectation or whatever, I might be like gone into my meditation, because I do it daily. I would go for my swim, I would go into the steam room, and the next thing you know, when I wasn't even wanting something to happen, then all of a sudden the vision shows up. So like, you don't know when it's going to happen, but you kind of have to follow through with what you're being shown, or they're not going to keep showing you stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed as well.
Well, they're also building a language with you too. They see, okay, she got the numbers. She sees the numbers. And then they'll say, okay, so her friend, I can speak to her and get her to go and say whatever she needs to know. So that person can be a support system. And so then they do that. And then it's like they find every which way they can to communicate with you. It's not, they're just talking in your ear, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, like I noticed,
they're talking to you, but you got to watch all the signs.
I noticed before we came on that Jennifer, she communicates a lot with numbers. Like a number will come up or something happens and Jennifer starts adding the numbers together. And that tells her something about what's happening. To me, numbers don't mean as much because I'm not connecting with numbers. And so like, I know that when I work with the Oracle decks, that's like a communication. So Jennifer has her numbers. That seems to be a big thing. Does anybody else have like numbers that tell you what's happening?
Numbers, I see numbers a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about synchronicities a lot for me. Just like it could be signs, things that are popping up. Sometimes it's numbers for me. It's all different types of things, but I also get, spirit talks to me in my ear too. So I get a lot of information that way. All different kinds of ways things will come to me. And one thing I was going to say, it's about being connected all the time. It's about being connected all the time. So it's like, you're constantly, now we're constantly connected.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into a specific meditative state, but just like Robin, what you're talking about, we're just constantly keeping that energy connected into source, so that when we do that, we're kind of living our lives
in the
now.
now.
Living our best life. We're living our best, highest energy life that we possibly can. And so we're getting information all the time now. Not just,
and I really
believe
I believe documenting as well. And when you're first starting, and even now I still journal. I journal just about every day. I do it in this probably a different way than other people do. I love Oracle decks. And so I collect them. It's my thing, my passion. When's my birthday or something? My husband will be like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'll be like, I've been looking for this deck. I want that one, and I'll usually have like 3 or 4 decks that I'm like looking at, and he'll be like, just show me what you want. And then I'll pick which one you get. So it's a surprise. But I just love them. And when I first started using the Oracle decks, I would like randomly go on there and I would just pick one. But I would always, I found I was doing it when I was like in dire need of like knowing something, or my life wasn't working out right and something was going on and I needed to get an answer and I needed it now. And I would do it and I really wasn't getting much effect at all. And then about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I decided, I was in meditation. I had been going to these sound bath things, and I was getting guidance that I needed to start journaling. I need to start writing. And so I was like, what do I write about? So then I just said, okay, I'll start picking these cards out on my deck and I'll write what the cards mean. And after a while, there was like a dialogue that was going on. And now I literally tell people, well, I need to go talk to my guides now. Let's see what they want to talk about. And like, even before we came on today, I was like, okay, let's see what they want us to talk about today. And I pulled out 4 different decks to see what would be the best topic to go on, you know, and that's how it works for me, like the journaling, and that's how things happen. And then after a while, I start automatic writing. Or I might wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like I need to like pick up a pen, and I have a piece of paper and I put that next to my bed. I have a notebook and I just start scribbling and I don't even know what I'm writing, you know, so it's just like, it doesn't happen overnight. And that's kind of, I think, what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to tell people, you know, like if you're just starting out and you're just really trying to get your connection with your higher self, it's not magic what we're doing. It's like we're all doing the same types of things in a different way. And it's not magic, and every single one of us has the ability to connect with our higher self. We have our guides. Our higher self is, I believe our guides are also part of our higher self. And we come in with this, that every single one of us has them. There's not one of us that doesn't. It's just, we need to learn how to listen to it and how to know when they're talking to us, and how to know when they're, like you say, like you get signs and there's things that happen. And I just wanted to just debunk the thing that we're just like, the 4 of us sitting here in front of you, we just like are experts and we know it all. Because we don't.
Definitely not.
No.
No.
Yeah.
All we know is what we know.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love too that you have an obscene number of oracle decks, because so do I.
So do I.
And
we should do a thing where we should do the top 10 oracle decks.
Oh, that'd be good.
I've got some
That would be fun.
on my list of like that I'm coveting from afar that I really want, but I haven't gotten them yet because I need to get into using the ones I have more. It's an obsession. It's a sickness. I can't.
It's not.
I think everybody gets it.
Oh my God, it's awful.
Well, every one of them has a different energy, so they're cool.
And they're just so good.
And
But
I have favorites, and then I have ones that I just set aside and I don't really do anything with them.
Me
Do you do
too.
that?
Yeah.
And I think, and Bonnie, I love too that you said that they start, you know, speaking to you in their language. And I think that language development goes back to whatever it is you recognize as communication. So like if you recognize a synchronicity, if you start acknowledging that you're getting repeated number sequences, and then you go research what those number sequences mean. If you know, keep having dreams that kind of have similar messages, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever you acknowledge, if you go, oh yes, that's a message. I don't know what it means, but I know it's a message.
Yes.
You'll find out the more you do that, the more they go, oh, okay, so he or she is acknowledging,
picking up on it. Yeah.
That mode of communication. We're going to keep doing that. And so you might end up with, like Bonnie was saying, several, you know, modes of communication that ends up being the language.
Yes.
And it's just fascinating when
it is.
And the language can morph over time as you know, open up. They'll be like, well, let's try this. Maybe this will work. Maybe they'll get that. And then it adds to your sort of vocabulary, so to speak.
Right. And so that's why I always, you know, when I'm teaching Reiki in the beginning, I always want them to know that they're just as special as anybody else. And once they put a little bit of effort into learning their energy language, and know that they're trying to communicate with you, that they're not, that they're going to treat you just like anyone else. You just have to work with them, show them what you know. They got to learn you too.
And one thing I like, I was like doing this and for the longest time and doing the journaling and all this and I kept questioning, am I really understanding this the way that it's meant? Like, you be getting all this information and then you're just kind of like, am I making this up? And
Yeah.
I'm getting all this. And then, so I think sometimes you do need to go and have sessions with people and stuff like that to get more clarification. I swear by regression therapy, anything like that, like QHHT. When I had, in 2018, I finally had my first session with QHHT, and I was able to ask my higher self directly all these questions, and then I still didn't believe what they told me. and so then it took me another year before I had another session, and then I was like, oh, okay. I was totally like, okay, I know this is what I'm hearing right, and all that kind of thing. So I'm not trying to say when we're doing this that you have to do this all by yourself. That's the reason why there's practitioners out there, and there's people out there that we all have, like, we can help you. So like when you get to a wall and you just can't go farther, and you really need to like get past something. Like for instance, I had a karma contract that I really needed to cut, and it was happening to me like Groundhog's Day. And I kept thinking I went in, and I kept thinking I cut it. I kept thinking it was done. And it wasn't done until Bonnie had said to me, I need to do a session with you because I want you to know what I'm doing before you go and I have an interview with you. I want you to kind of know what it is that I'm doing. And in that session that I had with Bonnie, I was able to see, not only cut the karmic contract, but I was able to see what it is that I did that started the whole thing, so that I was able to then sever it, because like it just didn't sever until I could actually go in. So we do need help from other people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a really intense one. And you still, it took a little bit for you to recover from that.
Okay,
I would
so
say a
like,
good
yeah,
month.
when did that happen? That happened, was it?
It was right after the expo, whenever
It
that
was like at the end of May. It was like the end of May. What are we on now? We're in June,
June,
May.
end of June.
End of June.
So it's a
Yeah.
good month.
Yeah, and like we couldn't get that off the computer. Like we tried, like, because when I had this session with Bonnie, and we recorded it on the Zoom and everything, and then afterwards it wouldn't copy and paste. So she couldn't get it to, or it would copy, but it wouldn't paste anywhere. And then she couldn't get it to go into my email to send it to me. And for the longest time, I was like, Bonnie, we got to get that session out because I'd like to hear it again, you know, because when you have these sessions, it's good to kind of go back and listen to them, kind of thing. But what happened is my higher self didn't want me to go back and look right away, because it was such a deep, there was so much, it was very traumatic, and it was such, there was something there that I had to, if I went and I kept looking at that, I would keep reliving it, and it would just stay right there, and I needed to kind of let it go. And then last week, you and I were just sitting there talking, and
This worked.
and I said, hey,
I
see
just
if we can get
copy
that
paste it and
sent.
send it out.
And it went, and there was no problem with it at all whatsoever, except for the fact that you couldn't figure out how to get your Google Drive to work. And then we got that working, and then boom, it went out, and now it's allowed. I was allowed to listen back, and I listened back to it so I could edit it and get it ready to put up. And when I listened back to it, I wasn't affected. And that's what Bonnie said to me. She asked me, she said, how were you when you heard it, when you listened to it, and it didn't affect me? So that means I know I'm okay with it now. Like, so when you have some of these deep sessions like that, sometimes you can't revisit it until
you're ready.
Yeah,
that's the reason why when you do quantum healing like that in the Akashic reads, you always wait for the client to come call you when they're ready. You never tell them when to come back, because they have a lot, after each session they have to heal from it. It's really deep trauma.
Yeah, and when you have a session that's deep like that, sometimes you could end up doing a lot of like purging. You could get like diarrhea, all kinds of things going on with your body. And even when I was talking to my friend Nora, she does the transference healing, and I had the session with you, and then I had one with Paige, and then there was another one with you, and she's like, Robin, you really you need to like stop. She's like, because your body is just gonna just get like depleted if you don't stop.
You have to
'Cause
give
sometimes-
yourself time. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like getting an attunement when you first start Reiki. Your body has to clear and let go of everything that's in the way in order to bring in that energy, bring in that light. And so your body's just finding a way to release that energy. And so in whatever way it comes, sometimes it's a little messy and not so much fun, but that's the way it works. Drinking
what's
lots of water and eating well is a good thing.
What's it been like for you guys the last couple of weeks? What's your life been like?
Well, I want to address a question that's
Yeah,
been, I've had my hand up. I didn't want to.
Oh, I didn't see your hand.
That's okay. I've been like,
school.
so Genevieve Acosta says, this is so helpful. Does anyone have the ability to see colors and blobs? And we had just talked about that, so this is great.
Yeah.
This is what kept me meditating when I first started, and I had no idea what was going on. I also see bright lights, blue skies with clouds, layers of rainbows of colors like watercolor, and sometimes what looks like buildings and an old world, mountains. So much so
Mountains, I get that.
So much and so peaceful. Sorry. I'm new to all of this, and it has made me think I'm going crazy. Any guidance would be helpful. So Genevieve, I can tell you that me and Robin we discussed earlier that when we meditate, we see blobs of colors or flashes of light or, geometric shapes. And I would say too, when you're being shown something, feel free to ask, what are you showing me?
Mm-hmm.
And then when and how they can guide you to it, even if it means 2 days later you pick up a book and it says you're looking at Atlantis, or whatever it is. There's some synchronicity that lets you know what you were seeing. Ask questions during that process. That's all.
I see something that happens to me that's been happening after the blobs, the blobby things that we were talking about earlier. Whenever I start to see something, when I'm in meditation, when I'm like not expecting it, all of a sudden there'll be like, it starts out like a black dot, and then it kind of like moves. It's like this like black dot, like how sometimes you get like a dot, like you get like a thing in your eye, and you see this dot kind of thing, and I'll get this black dot, and then all of a sudden it might turn white, and then I get, like what she was saying, mountains. I get like, it looks like mountains or like pyramids like in the background, and it happens to me every time I go into my regression sessions as well. Now I seem to, all of a sudden I'll start seeing the pyramids, and there'll be like a section of like 4 of them, and then all of a sudden out of that a vision or something might show up. I'll start seeing something like a landscape or something like that. It doesn't happen all the time.
Kathy, do you see that, like sometimes it's like a spot of light and then it gets bigger and bigger, it makes like a portal? That's what I see.
And I've gotten where it'll start out small and it'll get bigger, and it might be like a color, and like I see like a tunnel, and it's like it's connecting to something.
Yes, I do that, especially when I'm channeling for meditation for others. I start doing that, and that energy always makes me start feeling like a pendulum. I start moving.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
So I see all different. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I see all different kinds of things when I do meditations. I'll go all over the place. I'll take myself to a really like Zen, beautiful place on earth. And I just kind of, most of the time when I do stuff, I'll see like little movies in my head, or but I will sometimes, especially when I was attuned to Reiki, I'll see purple a lot. Most of the time I see purple when I go in, or different colors. A lot of purples and yellows are the colors that I see most of the time. So I do see blobs here and there, and it's blobs of just energy, especially like I said, when you're getting attuned or doing any of that high vibrational work. And so a lot of purple and yellow, and then a lot of like movie type scenes, or I'll just get knowings of things, or my guides will talk to me and I'll get information, or we need you to do this. Since I get a lot of
and some
have you
people
guys
get
ever like, oh, go ahead.
Like, this is something that Bonnie mentioned there. She had this happen to her like last week, I think it was. Cartoons. Some people get like a cartoon looking kind of thing.
Well,
I have never had it happen to
cartoon
me,
world.
but I've heard people have that happen to them.
Yeah, I have a cartoon world that I used to go into when I was a kid, and it still shows up when I'm meditating. Um, and then, and it seems like um, that'll show up, and then all of a sudden then you'll see real people, and then or I won't be in my body. I could see myself meditating, and then I could see an angel working on me. I've done that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. When I'm in meditation, when I used to do the sound baths are really good for people if you're really not used to doing meditation or anything like that. Just to go to a place, I don't know if anybody even knows what a sound bath is. It's
I
like
do.
you
Aurora
go
does
and they
that.
have like the gongs, and they have the those things that are like chimes and ding ding ding, and
Yeah.
and the singing bowls and all that kind of stuff. And if you go to those, they're really good to kind of open you up and help you go in and start calming yourself down without having to like just take time out for yourself when you're first starting to like go into learning how to meditate. Are very good.
I
The
did a
shamanic journeying.
I did a really cool class Sunday on an angel class with uh, Jeremiah. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but anyways, he explained that feeling when you start to drift away, because he's the angel that comes into your visions and he helps you see. He also works with Akashic Records, and he says that feeling, that drifting feeling away when you start to go in, that's him. His energy is so soft and loving that's what he's guiding you. He's helping you. So he's an angel to call upon when you're trying to learn how to meditate, and he will help you. He will help you with anything that you're asking. But it's that soft, drifty feeling. That's what he does. And I thought that was really neat to explain to the people yesterday.
Genevieve Acosta, she says she's so grateful for us, and that she found your words at just the right time. So follow what you are guided to do. Got it, she says. So yeah, we're helping people, guys.
Does anyone have the ability?
I was gonna also
Every time I
say,
try to look at it, it starts talking.
Yeah, because you gotta put your volume down.
You guys are gonna just, yeah, okay.
I was gonna tell
Turn-
Jen, that you cannot do it wrong. You're connecting into source and you're not doing anything wrong. So everybody sees things completely differently. So don't expect to get things in a certain way, because it's not always going to come to you in that way. You know, I might see pictures, or I've always been a person who, and I didn't realize, I think that we don't realize through our lifetime that everybody's gifted, everybody. And I've always been able to see past lives and things like that of my own. Ever since I was a kid, now that I've noticed it. And so those things have resurfaced. Had no idea that's what I was doing. I just thought I had a great imagination. But you can't do it wrong. And I just wanted to say that don't expect things to come to you in a certain way, because that's not how specifically you're going to.
She
Just
makes a good
accept it
point.
in.
Kathy, you make a good point. Some people are just born that way. They, because I was born that way too. And it's just a matter of learning how to use it and how to, what it's trying to tell you. And then some people may be born that way and look at it as not a gift. They're afraid of it because, they don't understand it at all.
Or they were told not to believe in it and everything.
bad.
Because I literally, like, lived with the fairies and the unicorns and all these, like, that was my life. Like, I played with them, and if I spoke out about that, when I played with them, I would be told, you're just imagining that, just stop what you're doing, kind of thing. And that's what's happened to so many people. But I think that our children know, because there's so many people that are awake, and so many people that have been gone back trying to get their gifts back again and be able to see like they did when they were a child, that we're not going to do that to our kids.
No, it's just we're trying to make our way back to our original blueprint. And if you think about when you were 3 or 4, before people started telling you that your gifts, you shouldn't do that, or you're not really seeing that, or stop talking to yourself when you're talking to the fairies. you know, or stop, you know, I would say, like, try to help someone. I would have a knowing and say, oh, I'm sorry you're sad, you know, and start to talk to them. And my parents would be like, you can't just talk to people about their personal things. It's not appropriate. And so then you think, oh, that stuff's bad. And so you stop doing that. It's just all about relearning who we came here to be and what you know, just we're relearning to love ourselves and love others. That's what we're doing, you know. And just, you know, just know you're not alone. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. And the reason why some of us are a little bit further along is because we were meant to help the others to move along too. So don't feel any different, because you're not. We're all the same.
So we were brought, yeah, so we were brought, like what Bonnie was saying, we were brought online earlier to help the next ones in line. You know, it makes me think of that one song, like, you know, help the next person. That's what we're here to do. We came on and went through the tough times ourselves. And, you know, the awakening process is messy and it's not always easy. And people might think you're crazy, you know, whatever. Just, you know, stand in your light and realize that you have a piece of the creator in you, you know what I mean? And so just keep moving forward and get the help from the friends that you need, people who are awakened that may be able to help you along your path. And that's what we're all here for. So we're such a big awakening going on right now. And, you know, we all leaned on each other. I remember Jen and Bonnie helping me at one point when I had a past life thing come up and I was in physical pain and it was horrible to go through. And numerous times. And I went in and I was like, somebody help me. I don't know what to do. You know,
well,
and
we still do that. Yeah.
And we all
to
do.
this day. Yeah.
But that's
what we're here for.
And we also have to learn, we all have to learn our own discernment as well, because there's so much out there. There's so many people coming on and they all have these like gifts. And a lot of times I find, I don't know about you guys, you watch a lot of people and they'll be like, oh, this one said this is the truth. And this one says that is the truth. And you have to really learn, because there's so much going on out there. What is the truth, and what you decide what's the truth inside of you. Like I noticed a lot lately, I've been detaching a lot from YouTube channels and even channelers and different people that I used to watch all the time. And I think it's just, I need to get away from the drama. There's just so much drama going on there right now. And can you imagine if you, like you three women, we have been awake for a while. We've had time to like go through and figure out what we feel in our heart is right and what's not. And then there's these like people going on and they're doing all this, like they're telling people that they have the answers and magic and all this stuff is coming out. And it's got to be like, oh my God, like what am I supposed to be believing in? Because one person says this and the other person says that. And I've learned even I'm just shutting it off. I'm just like, okay, I think the better thing to do is to just kind of go within and really feel it through your bones. Like if somebody is saying something to you and it feels off, like there's something that doesn't feel totally and completely right about it, doesn't mean they're a bad person, but it just step back and let that just sink and just really think about that and let it go in to your heart and be like, okay, does this feel right? Or if your gut is telling you there's something that doesn't resonate or that's not right, just take whatever that does resonate and let the rest go. And because everybody has their own discernment and everybody can know from within them if something is right or not. Because I've had so many people come to me and ask me, is this person good for me to be around? And they'll start telling you all about, I don't even know who the person is. And they'll say, do you watch this person? And is this person like a false light and all this stuff? I can't tell you if someone's a false light. Jennifer can't tell you if someone's a false light. Kathy can't either. We can only know what feels right inside ourselves. And if something doesn't feel right, just move on and just
your emotions are your barometer. If something you literally go by your feelings. When you're listening to that person, if you really don't feel love from that person and you don't feel the emotions of you know, that they're working with the light, then you should just
Mm-hmm.
not listen to them. It's
And
not-
I don't want
shouldn't be
people to
questioned.
even take what I say. I don't want people to take what I say as like this is the way it is, because it's my truth, and it could be totally different for Jennifer what her truth is. And so like I guess that's what I'm trying to say, that we're not gurus anymore. The day of the guru is gone.
Yeah.
It's now we all have to listen within. We can't get away with it anymore.
I want to
Yeah.
add to that, Robin, because that's such a good point, that there's the truth, and that's an absolute truth. But when we try to bring in that truth, we're all filters, and all of our filters have been formed through our personal experiences and our personal issues, our challenges, our level of consciousness, our level of vibration. They all determine how we filter what comes through, whether it's coming through from source directly or whether it's coming through from source through other people who they themselves are filters. And so I might pick up on one thing and I interpret it one
She's gone frozen.
same thing, but she might. And then let's say Robin watches what Bonnie and I say, and then she has to pass that through her filter, and her filter is either going to resonate more with what Bonnie says or what I say, because it's a whichever one is a
Vibrational match.
I agree with her totally, because we're all, and there's no vibration that's better than the other. It's like we all sync. And that's why, have you noticed, like when you have friends, okay, like they fall away, like you'll have friends that you'll be resonating with and everything will be kind of like all going hunky-dory, and then all of a sudden maybe somebody's vibration gets tweaked or changed, because our vibration changes all the time. And then all of a sudden you're not resonating really with that person. It's not that you don't like that person and that you don't want to talk to them or be around them, but like you're just not drawn to have conversations with them at that time. So like for when I was like, before I didn't understand it, and I'd be kind of like, oh, how come this person, they were my friend and they talk to me every day, and now all of a sudden they have nothing to do with me, and why? But you never had a fight, or you never had a falling out, and what's going on? And it's all about the
Vibration.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know what was going on with your dog, Kathleen.
The Amazon package came in the, it was the mail guy. The mail guy coming to the door, and I'm like, shut up.
That makes sense.
My dog, I'm surprised hasn't heard your dogs and be kind of like coming in and trying to come in the room.
I was like, no.
I think Jennifer's saying
Genevieve, sorry. Oh, can you see me? Can you hear me?
You went frozen a couple of times.
Oh, okay. So Genevieve says, so when I heard in meditation, it's time to get to work. It's time to get to work, over and over. It's time to get to work, Genevieve. Yep. And so then Genevieve, you can go into meditation and say, all right, guide me to know what that's going to look like and how you want me to do it. And I know that guidance is going to come in divine right timing. When and how is, however, is for my highest and best good. So that means you're not then placing an expectation of how you're going to get that guidance and that knowing, but you are saying to your higher self and your spiritual entourage, I'm ready to receive the knowing of what that work is.
Yes. Yeah.
And even when you know what that work is,
David starts.
When you know that work is, you just sometimes you know it, but then you stop yourself as well, because you don't go forward with what you're doing, because you're trying to all of a sudden turn it into, how am I going to make an income out of this? I've noticed that as well. And then you have to step back and say, wait a minute, this is coming through me, and don't worry about how it's going to happen, how you're going to be able to live off from it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's where the trust card comes in.
Yeah. She was trying to say something about what David said. David, that was David wanted to know what was going on with this thing. All the light of God, but yay, if you don't connect with truth, your vibration, then it's not meant for us. I like David. I had David, just so you guys know, I had David on my Be the Change. I didn't know who he was at all. He's coming up with I'm probably going to do this wrong. I'm probably not going to promote him right. Let's see, David. He's coming up with like an app for spiritual people. It's a spiritual kind of app where you can go on and you can put meditations up and like artwork, like my artwork, you can put your artwork up, you can put these like videos on it or something. I don't know exactly, but he's taken all of his own money and he's like investing it into this app, and it's going to be for the people.
Oh, that sounds really
Yeah,
amazing,
it's not going to
David.
be lined.
High five.
Good job. Hey, David, if you could post it in here for people.
It's
Mark?
not ready yet. I don't think it's ready yet for posting
Oh,
yet. He's
that's
got a song that he's putting out. Yeah, it's going to be just like what I said. Did I say it right? Yeah, I did.
Thanks,
and-
Robin, he says.
Yeah, no, but it's kind of like gonna be, I don't know. He said something about TikTok. I don't know what that is. It's gonna be kind of like a TikTok thing, but it's gonna be for spiritual people.
Oh, that's gonna be lots of fun.
Yeah, and he's doing
awesome.
something about, there's gonna be like, I don't know if it's like a profit sharing thing or something like that going on where, I don't know. I don't want to like mess it up on him. He explained it before when he came on my show, but yeah, and there's some kind of there's a music thing. It's called The Power of Love, and he's bringing it on. They're going to raise money, and they're going to raise money for charity or something. I don't know what.
Well, we could just say to go to Shine Your Light Network and look for him in
and he's going to
the interviews.
Yeah, like when his app is up and running, he's going to come back on, and we'll put him up, and he'll talk about it more.
He just said
share it here.
The Divine Right's coming out in about 30 days, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he said, on the subject of meditation, did you always see your meditation in color? It was black and white for me for the longest time.
Sometimes it is
different
black and
colors
white.
of gray.
Black and white checkerboard for me.
Yeah. See, everybody is different. Everybody sees and feels, and some people don't see anything at all and think that there's something wrong with them.
I hope we're not talking over you because you keep freezing, and then we just. I just want to let you know we're not doing it on purpose.
No, I know. I can tell because you guys.
See, you froze again.
She keeps freezing up. And we're almost running into where we have to go because all of you have appointments and sessions and things going on this afternoon. But I just wanted to talk about this one card that came up with me this morning before we leave. And it's what has been going on with me. It's called Detach from Drama. And I feel like it's a message that's very important for everybody, like, because it's been coming up for like the last couple of weeks that we really need to detach from everything that's going on around us. Like, there's so much going on around the world and around us at the moment, and that our guides really want us to just detach from all of that, because there's people that be watching us talk, people that be watching light workers, and they're all interested in all of this. It's time now, like what the one girl there, she said, like, it's time to go, or time to get going, or what was her thing that she said that she needed to do?
Time to get going.
Time to get to work. It's time for us to get to work now. And this message has been coming up for me, and it's been coming up for just about everybody that I know, that the time is now. The time is now to get action. And we need to stop focusing on all the crap that's going on around us, and really need to start focusing on changing our inner self so that we can then manifest the new world that we want. Because I think a lot of this, like, stuff that's going on, all these causes and all these things that are happening, it's to keep the people like unfocused on like what they came here to do. And they're trying to get us like to get our focus gone, because they don't want us to. There's some forces, there really are forces out there in the world that don't want us to achieve what we're starting to achieve now. And there's an awful lot of light workers out there that have really allowed themselves to just like get taken up by all that chatter and all that stuff that's going on, and these rabbit holes and going down them and trying to like fight for this and fight for that. And they're wasting, not really wasting, because they're not wasting their time doing it. But what the message that I'm being told is detach from the drama and go within yourself and really start doing what it is that you came here to do.
Yeah, they want us in a state of fear, because if we can be afraid, that keeps our vibration low, and we're also then focused on what's creating the fear. And oh my God, what's happening next? Is another more riots? Second wave? Oh my God. And then we're not paying attention to how we can stay in a state of peace, joy, love, bliss, you know, and how can we.
And we're feeding them. We're feeding the darkness.
Yes, that's their whole point, is to have us be their food, but to a much greater.
Yeah, like educate yourself
as
about
their job.
Yeah, like I feel like it's our job to educate ourselves about what's going on, but then don't just keep focusing on that. Like, okay, we know like what's going to happen to us if we wear a mask. We know like it's not good for us. You know, we know all these things.
We know what all the signs are that there's trying to, you know, keep us
we
quiet,
know what's happening and all that kind of stuff. But now if we keep focusing on that, then we're not going to make the world what we actually really want. We're going to start manifesting that, and we're feeding it. So if I can't say anything that's more important right now, is to start going within, find that spark again. What did you come in here to do? What is it that you are meant to do? And then just start spending your energy on that. And that other stuff is just only like, that's just the topic of the day right now. That's just to keep you kind of like not focused on what you're meant to be
Once we
doing.
drop this timeline, that other stuff isn't going to matter. It won't be happening.
Yeah, so just allow yourself, because to just do, and that's what I'm doing. Like I literally like changed up my room in here. I did a big huge clean, and I got my crystals here. I got everything all gridded around my room, and I feel like I now have a space where I can just, this is my space and I can create. It's not a very big space, and I'm feeling like, okay, what's new? And I'm really, and I turned off all the chatter. In the last 2 weeks, I think the only thing I've done is watch like Anne of Green Gables. I do not know what's going on out there. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I've taken off the news and everything, because for me, in order to cope, it was too much for me. I couldn't keep going and listening to the news and wondering, am I supposed to wear a mask today when I go to the shop, or what is the rule? So now I just say, okay, what's the rule for me when I go out to the shop today? Is wear a mask or not wear a mask? You know, like I just need to know, so I know what the rule is, and then go on with my life, because you can't focus on that 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah. And I would add to that too, that you know, it's make sure you're not promoting or participating in or perpetuating any of the intentionally created or intentionally devised opportunities to be divisive. I mean, if whether it's black versus white, male versus female, cop versus Republican versus Democrat.
Movements. Don't get attached to movements, is what she's trying to say, I'd say.
You keep freezing. She's trying to help you.
No, what I mean to say, can you hear me?
Yeah, you just keep getting frozen.
I know every time I speak, it's like, they don't want me being heard.
She goes again.
Did I freeze again? Yep. They don't want me being heard today. It's don't participate in division, in divisive.
That's it right there.
Because that's what they want us to do. They want us to be afraid and hate each other, because divide and conquer. So stay aware of it, but use it as a springboard of inspiration of how then what can I do differently then? I know, instead of a mask, I'll wear a face shield, because you can still see my face, but I'm following.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can still smile at people.
You know?
Yeah. And what did Mother Teresa say? She says, if you ask me to come to a war rally, I won't attend. But if you ask me to come to a peace rally, then I will.
Yes.
It's just the, yeah, it's just the vibration.
Absolutely.
It's the vibration of what you're, so really think about what it is that the cause that you're like trying to like back and be behind and stuff. Think about, is this effective, what we're doing, or are we just like feeding them? And
Yeah. Think
And
about where you want your energy to go to.
Yeah,
What do
and
you
if
want to
you're-
lend your energy to?
yeah, and are you angry? If you're angry about it, then you're feeding them. That's not where you want to be. You want to focus on equity, equality,
love, peace, joy, creativity.
I
peace,
feel like
etc.
before we go, we should let Kathy talk. She hasn't gotten to say hardly anything.
Yeah, let's let Kathy talk.
Talk to us, girl.
They're saying to me, so they want us to focus on reunification. Instead of focusing on all this other crap, focus on the reunification of everybody and focus on shining our own light into that reunification. So send that, just blast that love energy right into the middle of it and just blow all that other stuff up. That's how they show it to me in my head. That's how Spirit's showing me. They're like, send it love, send it love. Send
But
it
you know,
great
your energy is always explosive that way.
Yeah. And there's a lot happening for us right now. There's a lot of, like, even though you don't think anything is happening or anything is going on because maybe nothing interesting is happening in your life, we are rebirthing something really big and something
Whole
really,
new world.
yeah. And it's going to take a while. And so just sit back and relax and try to just detach from the drama. If you could
Yes.
just detach from the drama, you'd be good.
Yes, absolutely.
That's my words of wisdom for today.
Do you have anything to say, Jen, before we go?
No, because I'll freeze.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She froze again. She wasn't lying.
Bonnie, do you have any last words of wisdom?
I just want to tell everybody to go with love. And if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it doesn't feel like love in your heart, then move on to the next thing, because life's too short to waste all your time worrying about what's going on the TV. And you know, just turn it off and go out in nature and just feel the love of God when you go outside. And everything's going to be okay. God has it all under control. There's no reason to panic. We're all going to be okay. That's what I want to leave with.
The light already in.
Yes.
And we came here to experience joy. So start living for your joy instead of all this other stuff. And so if you focus on that, it's going to bring you to, you know, you're going to manifest right into what you want.
Yeah, focus
And
on
life doesn't have to be always like strict or like, you can have fun, like what you're just saying. And I even pulled a card today and it said something about keep your emotions positive. Like, what was the card? It said stay as positive as you can, keep your emotions as positive as possible.
Yep. If you've allowed yourself to fall into fear or anger,
It happened to you again.
Robin, do you want to, since she froze, do you want to talk about really quick your Shine Your Light network for people?
I guess I could talk a little bit about the Shine Your Light network. So basically, the Shine Your Light network is, I created this network. It just started out as a Facebook group, and it still is a Facebook group. And what I found was that she's going to leave us. Bye, Bonnie.
Bye. Sorry.
What I found was that I was trying to like show my artwork out to the world. I wasn't trying to sell it or anything like that, but I was trying to show my artwork out to the world. And I found that there was all these rules and regulations on all these groups and sites and places like that that wouldn't allow you to share. You're allowed to like be part of the group, but you're not allowed to like tell people what you do or anything like that. And so I started a group so that people can come in and they can shine their light in whatever way, shape, or form that is. The only thing that I ask is that people try to stay away from any kind of whatever political stuff is going on. I try to like stay away from that. And the whole group is all about shining your light. And so I ask people to shine their light and not shine other people's light, because I want people to learn how to shine, because it's scary for people to go out there and say what they do and all that kind of stuff. And so I formed this group, and I do interviews. If anybody wants to come on and have an interview with me, just let me know through private message, and I'll set that up and organize something for you. And I'll come on. I don't just do like interviews and stuff. I come on and I do vlogs where I just come in and talk about maybe something that's going on with my life, or the guides might have something that they want me to talk about that day or whatever. And I just go in and just kind of talk. So if anybody's interested in that, go on in and sign up to and join the Shine Your Light Network. And you can find everything in the Facebook group, all the interviews and everything that I do, all the vlogs and meditations and everything. I also put that up on the YouTube page, which is Shine Your Light Network on YouTube. So come on over and have some fun with me. And I think I'll be coming on here with you guys every now and then. I'll pop in and say hi. And anything that you guys do, you can share it over to the Shine Your Light Network as well. And we'll help each other.
Thank you so much. And you are our sister in all of this. So I so appreciate you coming on and talking to us. And it was so wonderful to see you and for you to shine your light with us.
Thanks for having me.
I
hope you have a good afternoon. I'm in my evening time now, so okay. I'm gonna go have dinner.
Okay.
And you have a nice afternoon.
You too. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining. Bye-bye.
Robin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.